Well, hello, hello, hello. I am coloring the background for this heart, these hearts, because today I'm making something special. That's some pretty orange. Oh, these colors are so good together. This old crayon right here has been around and has made some beautiful things. Still some good, even though it's very small and broken. Okay, you guessed it. I'm making a gift for you know who. So I'm putting these things back. And I'm going to take these two papers and put them together. They're going to be mixed together. Now, it's not like baking a cake where you take some eggs and some milk and some butter and mix it together with some flour and poof, you come out with something. We're going to have to do some taking apart and putting back together again to make this happen. We are going to take these two papers, cut them apart, and combine them. Now, I've done something like this before. I've taken a view of trees in a landscape and a view of cactuses in a landscape, and I combine them in this accordion fold type of way for a very cool way of viewing both pictures. Okay? So that's the same idea we have going here. We're going to take these two and combine them using the accordion fold. You know, that fold that we use when we want to make one of those paper fans, like so, to fan ourselves when it's hot, like Southern ladies. Whew, it sure is warm. And we make this accordion fold for ourselves. So now that I'm done with my crayons, I'm going to clear a little space. I'm going to need scissors, I'm going to need glue, and I'm going to need an extra piece of paper for this. So, extra paper here, waiting in the wings. The first thing we need to do is fold this. Now, we're not going to do the accordion fold yet. First thing we need to do is cut this into strips. So fold this in half. Make sure you make it neat. Make the corners touch so all your strips are the same length and width. And then I fold in half again. And now it's when it really gets hard because the paper is much thicker when you fold it over itself this many times. And there. Make a nice crisp fold. Set that to the side and do the same thing with this one. I like this heart. I like the colors are blended together like that. Just looks almost like a sunset inside of a heart. Okay, make the corners touch. To fold in half. And then do the same thing again. Now it's folded into fourths. This is like a little bit of fractions. You see that? That's 4 parts. The heart's in 4 parts. All right, now the last time. Okay. There. So when you open it, this has been divided into 8ths, and you see how thin each strip will be. We need to cut them, but I'm going to do it the smart way because I'm going to cut on the fold. Be careful that you really do cut on the fold. So you don't have to go back and trim it. You wouldn't want to go back and trim it because then a part of your picture would be missing. So this is something you just have to get right the first time. And just really take your time cutting both pieces of paper at the same time, slowly and carefully. Okay. Leave this folded, cut here. And then the last piece, I have to open it and cut on the fold. So you have 8 parts. So let me put this back together over here. This goes on this side. And voila. It's like a puzzle. Just all came back together. So I'm going to keep this over on this side, and then right here, do the same thing. This needs to be cut into strips. Ever so carefully, as neatly as you can on the line. Oops. I made a daisy for the middle of the letter M in Mom. So the flower represents the letter O. And it's also a flower, which flowers, as I've said before, is something lovely to give someone. It tends to say what words can't say. Okay, so Mom is coming together. Some of these were upside down, but I remember what I drew, so I know what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to slide this over to separate the 2 pictures. Now, I'm going to take this extra piece of paper and I'm going to fold it in half the long way. Fold it in half lengthwise. It's important that I do that because I need to glue these 2 pictures together, so it needs to be a long piece of paper to glue them onto. So I need to take this piece of paper and help it become a long piece of paper. So what I'll do is take a little glue and attach it right along here. Let's make sure I make it nice and even. Very good. So let's start adding these to this. We're going to start with the first part of Mom, and then we're going to do an alternating pattern. So we'll go Mom, heart. So the heart part's here. And then we'll add the next strip from Mom. And you have to stay in order. Make sure they're lined up properly. All the bottoms meet with the bottoms. Put them close together, but not on top of each other, because when you go to fold, you don't want any problems. So next is heart. The heart's page. Close together as you can, but don't put it on top of the next one. These are very clever. And when people see these, they're always blown away. How'd you do that? That is so neat. It'll feel good to give something like this to someone special. And guess what? You don't have to make a mom with a daisy in the middle like I did, or hearts. That was my choice. Take 2 pictures of something that you enjoy drawing. And it's best if it's 2 different pictures. And it's also best if you have used colors that are different in each drawing. So they just really stand out from each other. Okay. Well, something I discovered the last time I did this was that this part right here, when it's time to fold, because it's thicker than the rest of the paper, because it's overlapping right here, it's going to try to give you problems. But it won't be anything you can't handle. But I thought I'd give you a heads up so you would know before you get started. See how that's coming? This is something that takes patience. You've got to be patient when you're working on something like this to make sure that you get it right, that you do it neatly. Because it'd be a shame to draw some very nice pictures and then cut them apart and then get to this step and lose your concentration and forget a step. Okay. I'm almost out of glue stick. I'm almost done with this though, so perfect timing. And voila. So mom and heart are joined together. Okay, this part we don't need anymore. So I'm going to carefully trim that off without cutting off a part of my heart picture. Okay, and I'm going to save this little square because I always know how to turn even the smallest piece of paper into something artful or creative. Okay, time for that accordion fold. So I'm going to turn this over and start folding. Fold it, flip it, and I'm going to fold it right there where these 2 guys meet. And then flip it and fold it. And flip it, then fold it. And this is pretty much the same way you would fold that paper fan that we are so happy to make on a hot day. We're familiar with that fan folding. I hope we are so familiar with that. So notice each time I flip it, I press down to make sure I get a good fold on it. Okay, I think we're to the point now where we're getting to that part that's kind of thick because that's where the paper was joined. Yeah, I did it. The last time I did this, it tried to give me fits. But I showed it. My hands are strong, and so is my will to make it right. Okay. Almost done. Whew. And back for the last time. Alright, so look at that. That is 2 pictures combined together in accordion fold. Let's open it. That accordion is an instrument that makes music when it goes dun, 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 and lets air in and out. Okay, so let's see what happens when we look at it from this way. Oh, the hearts. Now let's look at it from this way. There it is. It says her name, Mom. So now the last step would be for me to glue this down onto a piece of paper. I tend to like cardboard. I would use poster board, but I don't have any, so I'm going to bring out my handy dandy cardboard box and cut off all these extra flaps so I can have this big part right here in the middle. Once you cut the flaps off, it's a wonderful rectangle. It's nice and sturdy to hold your artwork. That way it won't flop around. Okay. Now in order to glue this, you're going to flip it over and position it where you want it. Okay, that's about right. Okay. And you're going to add dots of glue along the part of the accordion fold that is sticking up. I like to call these the mountains, because they are the parts that are up high right now. When we flip it over, they'll be the valleys. But right now, these are the mountains. I'm putting a little glue on them. The glue looks like it's dripping down, but when I flip it over, it will drip in the opposite direction and help this project stick to the piece of cardboard beneath. So quickly flip and adjust it, and then leave it somewhere to sit so the glue can dry and set. And then when the glue is dried, it's something that you can hold and show mom or whoever it is you make something special for. You don't even have to put words on it. It could be just 2 pictures like I did before with the cactus and the trees. I think that is so cool. I never get tired of making these. So remember, art makes you smart. Create cool stuff every day. Come back and see me again.